Colonial Philadelphia. Make inferences. As you read, make inferences about people, places, and events in Philadelphia. Big idea. Philadelphia became the Pennsylvania colony's main port. Vocabulary: township, immigrant, militia, almanac. As proprietor of the Pennsylvania colony, William Penn planned not only its government but also its settlements. One of them, Philadelphia, became the largest and wealthiest city in all the English colonies of North America. By 1770, it had more than 28,000 people, a small population by today's city standards, but very large for that time. Early colonial days. William Penn named his colony's chief city Philadelphia, a word meaning brotherly love in Greek. Like all of Pennsylvania, Philadelphia was founded on the idea that people of diverse backgrounds could get along with each other. That idea was reflected in the layout of most of the colony's settlements. Penn wanted to divide his colony into townships. Each township, or area of land, would be 5,000 acres, a space large enough for 10 families. Land belonging to individual families would be carved out of the township in giant pie-like slices. Penn wanted settlers to build their homes at the tips of the slices so that every family would be within walking distance of one another and of whatever church they chose to build. William Penn had a different layout in mind for Philadelphia, his colony's most important town. It covered a strip of land between the Schuylkill River on the west and the Delaware River on the east. Early drawings of one plan looked like a checkerboard, with straight streets laid out in great squares. Public parks added open spaces to the city that Penn called a green country town. Philadelphia's location near good land and waterways contributed to growth in shipping and trading. During the 1700s, Philadelphia developed into one of the busiest ports in the English colonies. By 1710, it had become the largest city in the colonies. Chief among its exports were farm products such as wheat, corn, rye, hemp, and flax. Imports consisted mostly of manufactured goods from England, which were then sent all over the Middle Atlantic colonies. Review. What did William Penn accomplish as leader of the Pennsylvania colony? The people of Philadelphia. Philadelphia soon became the main port in Pennsylvania for receiving not only imports but also immigrants. An immigrant is a person who comes into a country to make a new home there. According to Reverend William Smith, Philadelphians in the 1700s were a people thrown together from various quarters of the world, differing in all things: language, manners, and sentiment, attitude. The largest group in Philadelphia was made up of English and Welsh Quakers. They had arrived with William Penn. Later, Irish Catholics, German Lutherans, and Jews from many countries arrived. Free Africans came too. Some immigrants came to Philadelphia to find refuge from war and famine or shortage of food in their homelands. Many sought religious freedom. Others came because Philadelphia quickly gained a reputation for offering economic opportunity. Immigrants arriving in the city included farmers and skilled workers, such as bakers, blacksmiths, butchers, carpenters, shoemakers, and tailors. They set up their own shops, selling goods and services in Philadelphia and in other Pennsylvania settlements nearby. One of the largest groups of immigrants to arrive in Philadelphia came from what is now Germany. The Germans brought with them many of their customs and traditions, including barn raising. First, a farmer dug his barn's foundation and prepared a frame made of lumber. He then invited his friends and neighbors and their families to help raise the frame into place. To feed all the people, the families prepared huge meals. German immigrant gun makers developed the long-barrel gun called the Pennsylvania rifle. In the 1700s, it was the most accurate rifle in the world. It was particularly valued on the frontier, where accurate weapons were needed for hunting. German craft workers also designed a deep-bellied wagon known as the Conestoga. Conestoga wagons were larger than regular wagons and were first used mainly by farmers to carry produce to market. Scotch-Irish settlers also came to Pennsylvania. These were people from Scotland who had settled in Northern Ireland in the 1600s. Many of them and their descendants came to the English colonies. Like other immigrants to Pennsylvania, they entered the colony through the port of Philadelphia. Then they moved into the hilly frontier areas located near the Appalachian Mountains. Review. Why did so many immigrants choose to come to Philadelphia? Benjamin Franklin and his city. The story of Benjamin Franklin's rise to wealth and fame matches colonial Philadelphia's rise to become one of the most prosperous cities in the English colonies. As a citizen, Franklin left a strong mark on the growing city. He organized the first trained firefighting company in the 13 colonies and the first fire insurance company. He worked to have Philadelphia's streets paved and lit at night. He raised money to help build the first hospital in Philadelphia. He also organized a militia, or volunteer army, to protect Philadelphia and the frontier settlements. As a scientist, Franklin is best known for his experiments with electricity. It is believed that he proved that lightning is a form of electricity by tying a metal key to the string on his childhood kite and flying the kite in a thunderstorm. Using what he learned from his experiments, Franklin invented the lightning rod. A lightning rod is a straight, thin bar of metal attached to the top of a house or barn. It conducts, or guides, lightning into the ground. As a result, the building will not be damaged if it is struck. Until the invention of the lightning rod, buildings struck by lightning were likely to burst into flames. Benjamin Franklin's interest in learning included the education of others. He even helped establish the first library in the colonies which people could subscribe to. Colonists could borrow books after paying a small fee to become a member of the library. As a result, people seeking knowledge did not have to pay much money. Franklin's opinions on education were used too when a school called the Philadelphia Academy was founded. As a printer, Benjamin Franklin helped make Philadelphia a major publishing center in the English colonies. In 1729, he started printing a newspaper, the Pennsylvania Gazette. In 1732, he began publishing Poor Richard's Almanac. An almanac is a book issued only once each year. Franklin's had a calendar and a yearly weather forecast, which helped farmers know the best time to plant crops. It also had stories, jokes, and witty sayings such as early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. Review. What were some of Benjamin Franklin's contributions as a scientist and inventor? Lesson 2 review. Make inferences. How do you think Benjamin Franklin's lightning rod might have helped with the growth of Philadelphia? 1. Big idea. Why did Philadelphia become the Pennsylvania colony's main port? 2. Vocabulary. Use the term immigrant in a sentence to describe why some people settled in Philadelphia. 3. Timeline. When did Philadelphia become the largest city in the English colonies? 4. Economics. What were some of Philadelphia's chief exports? 5. Culture. What did German immigrants contribute to the Pennsylvania colony? 6. Critical thinking. Analyze. In what ways did William Penn lead his colony most like a leader in the United States today? Performance. Plan a community. Work with a group of classmates to draw a plan for a community. Then, write a paragraph describing the plan and display it in the classroom.